We are actually live now. We're actually live. For a minute there, I was talking to myself. So here I am. I am Lysandra Everett, if you have not seen my face before. And so today we're going to be talking about strategic partnerships. And I am just finishing my message here on Facebook. And we're going to share that and we're going to get it moving, because I do value your time and the time that you choose to spend with me. So yeah, so let's get going. Okay, so what I'm going to do for today is there's going to be some slide stuff, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit, because there's teaching involved in this, but there's also you know, just some stuff to really talk about. And so let me share my screen, and if you have questions, please go to my Facebook. My Facebook page is Let's Get Neat. So please go there and post your questions here so that I can answer them. All right, so here we go. All right, let me get my, let me share my screen and we will get going. Share screen. Okay, so let me look here. There's screenshot. Is it to everyone? Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now, and I'm gonna get going. Okay, so today is how to build strategic partnerships. This is something that I actually I put into practice for myself. This is something that I learned long time ago, and you probably already know about strategic partnerships, you just don't know it. And so once you see some examples of what I'm talking about, it might be this major aha moment for you, going, oh my gosh, I had no idea that's what this was. And but understanding too that even you as a small business owner, whether you are a traditional business owner, meaning a big brick and mortar business, or a home-based business owner, or even in the network marketing industry, you can have strategic partnerships that is going to help to build your business. And these are so useful and so important. Okay, so let's get going. All right, so first of all, you know, what's on the menu? You're gonna, you know, I'm gonna share a little bit about who I am. Then we're gonna get into the meat of the presentation, talking about strategic partnerships, what they are, some examples, how to identify your strategic partners, how to make the partnerships work, how to get started, and of course, I answer the question, what now? So I really want to help you with this, because it's in strategic partnerships that you can build a solid business and you're not exactly killing yourself. All right, so who am I? This is me over here on the left, and this is my family. I am a military spouse. We travel and move all the time. And you know, so I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm the chauffeur, I'm the gopher. You know, I've got 2 athletes, so I've got you know, whatever is what happens. You know, for instance, you know, right now my daughter is in cheerleading, and you know, and baseball and softball season is about to get started. So if you are, you know, being in business for yourself, you still have a life outside of business. And that is what this is all about. And that is what my business, No Excuses approach to is all about. It's really about building your business and your life, and really simplifying all of that stuff so that you can build a solid business and live the life that you want to lead. And just knowing that not everybody wants to build a life that's on the beach and all that stuff. I cannot swim. Seawater is not good for my fabulous hair. So that's just not what my definition of success is. And my mission in life is to really help you define what your idea of success is, and to help you get there without running yourself into the ground and going absolutely bonkers like I did my first few years of business. So that is who I am. That's what I'm about. And so nuts and bolts is, if you hang around me, I'm a get to the bottom line person really quickly. And that's just it. Let's get away from all the fluff and stuff. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish in our lives and businesses. Because it's great to have all sorts of money, but if you don't have your health, if you don't have your family, then you've got nothing. It's great to have your family and, you know, all of that, but you know what? We need money to live. We got to eat. We got to buy gas. We got to buy bats and baseball bags and, you know, cheerleading uniforms and all that stuff. So where I am in my life is I'm on a mission to really just help people live that, that blend. Okay. It's not balance. Balance is crap. But for you to be able to know when to spend appropriate time in appropriate places. Okay. So that's me. That's what I'm about. All right. So let's get on with it. What are strategic partnerships? Strategic partnerships are simply relationships between business owners who service the same customer, but in a non-competing fashion. So basically, all of you serve the same people, but just in different ways. When you think about you as a whole, you have different needs for different people, right? You got different needs for different products. Okay, you need the grocery store to buy your food. You need the car dealership, right, to buy a car. You need you know, a housing market in order to buy a home. So you have different needs to be serviced by different people. And that is what strategic partnerships are. Now, what does that look like? So here are some examples, and these are the ones that I noticed when I first, you know, really took notice of strategic partnerships. First, the real estate industry. You got the realtor, the loan officer, the home inspector, and the title company, and this person and that person. Because if you notice, and I was in real estate, we had a specific title company that we were supposed to work with. We had a specific loan officer that we were supposed to go to first. We had a specific home inspector that we were supposed to go to first, right? So that's what the unspoken rule was. And when I found out, when I broke the unspoken rule, then I found out how spoken it really was, but it wasn't my fault. But also in the wedding industry as well. You've got the photographer, the caterer, the event planner, the bridal shop, the limo driver. All of these people service the bride and this wedding, but they are in non-competing fashions. So is that making more sense to you as to what strategic partnerships look like in action? You know, you think about in your own life, you know, if you've ever purchased a home, if you've ever been to a wedding, you've seen this stuff in action. All right, so how do you identify your strategic partnerships? Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is you need to know the needs of your ideal client, and we'll talk more about that. And then once you know the needs of your ideal client, you intentionally connect with the people that service those needs. Again, think about the real estate industry, think about the wedding industry. They know the needs of their ideal clients, and they're also connected to the people that can service those needs. Okay? All right, so let's talk about knowing the needs of your ideal client. You know, this is really about knowing your target market, knowing your niche within the market. You need to know everything about your ideal client age, income, their location where they live, their occupation where they work, like what their job is and their physical location of where they work, whether they are in an office building or they might be a, someone who travels all the time, right? What their recreational activities are. Are they avid boaters? Do they run? Do they bike? Do they hike? What are their health status? Are they health nuts, or are they spending 3 out of 6 months in the ER? Also their family status. Are you looking at an ideal client who is young in their life, meaning that they have they might have a family with young kids. They could have aging teen to adult children, or your ideal client might be an older client, but may be raising their children's children, maybe raising their grandchildren. So you need to know all about your target market. And so when you think about this, and this is why I gave you the common examples that I did, is that when you think about this, you think about that bride. Okay, you're like, okay, this bride, so let's just say I'm the event planner. She's gonna need a limo, photographer. She's gonna need a place to have this wedding. She's gonna need some clergymen. She's gonna need rings. She's gonna need a dress and all this stuff. Okay, great. Now, once the wedding is over, right? Then what are they gonna need? Well, somebody's gonna be moving or something, right? So so then that wedding person, that event planner, might be saying, hey, girlfriend realtor, I got this bride that just got married, so they might need some help finding a place to live. So it's really understanding what your target market demographics are. I mean, down to if they're graying early or not. Okay, so that is the first thing, is to really know the needs of your ideal client. Now, let's talk about what makes the partnership work. All right, this is really a give and take type thing. All right, and it's not all about your business. Your business, but you also need to be able to talk about your partner's business. So for instance, if I'm the realtor, I might need, I need to know all about Jack's home inspection business. Okay, I need to know about Jack. I need to know if he's got good work going on. You need to know your partner's business and be willing to be an ambassador for that business. Meaning that, somebody may come to you and say, hey, I already have a realtor, but I need a home inspector. You need to be able and be willing to be an ambassador to Jack and say, hey, you know what? I know this great home inspector. Jack will hook you up. Here's Jack's information. May I take yours and pass that along to Jack? Okay. And do things together. You have to attend events together and really become friends. That is what makes, if you want to really see some business building going on, have two friends that know how to do business. That is some magic. And again, it's a give and take. You bring in new clients, they bring in new clients, and we all share those clients together. I'll tell you a story about how this really worked out for me. I lived in St. Louis in 2011, 12, somewhere around there. You lose track of time when you're moving all the time. But anyway, while I was in St. Louis, I was teaching social media. And I was just getting started because, as a matter of fact, when I first started in business, I had no desire to teach social media. But whenever I went out to these networking events, out of all the things I said to people about what I was able to do, the only thing they ever heard was teach social media. You know how to use Facebook? Okay, great. So I said, okay, well, if people are going to be asking me about this, I might as well be getting paid for my time. All right. So I wanted to teach social media classes, but I did not have anywhere to do it. I had no idea what I was going to do. Well, it just so happens I met this lady who had a space that she was opening up. It's a co-working space, and it's the Hive at 44 in St. Louis, Missouri. And so she needed a way to get people to her place. And so we just naturally fell together. And we're both June babies. We're both June babies, and Cheryl and I became really good friends. And so nuts and bolts is I was able to talk about her space, and she was able to talk about my social media. And we were everywhere together. There was not A without B unless there was something really wrong, right? And what was great about it is, you know, when people were asking her about her space, you know, she could say, okay, yeah, you know, we've got social media classes there all the time. And then she'd come back to me, hey, can you teach a social media class this week? You know, oh, absolutely. So that's how this really worked. And, you know, we helped to grow each other's business. And what I did is whenever I had a class there, she would get like the first 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of the session to talk about her co-working space. And I'd also intentionally, you know, start a few minutes late to give people time to walk around and look at the place and check it out. So we worked together to build each other's businesses. I worked just as hard for her as I did for myself, and vice versa. Okay, I mean, I got so to the point where I was booking appointments for her and said, hey, yeah, so-and-so is coming on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, so you need to make sure you be there, you know. So that is how magical a strategic partnership can be if it's done well, okay? So let's talk about preparation. Like how you say, okay, I know I'm in business. I know I need strategic partners. However, how do I even get ready for that? I'm here to tell you. Okay. So first thing is a spectrum of solutions, which I found out about in this wonderful book called The 7 Levels of Communication by John Mayer. I think his first name is, no, what am I, John Mayer, that's the singer. His name is Michael Mayer, M-A-H-E-R, The 7 Levels of Communication. And this real estate is a book for real estate agents, actually. He's a realtor that wrote this book, but it is a delicious book if you want to learn about networking, okay? And it's a very easy read. I actually had to read it twice because it also has a romantic storyline. So I had to read the book first for the storyline and then go back and get the information. It was crazy. Okay, so the first thing in preparing yourself is your spectrum of solutions, which we'll talk about more, and also finding networking opportunities. Okay, so let me stop real quick, go to the Facebook page and see if there are any questions thus far. Refresh. Okay, nobody has any questions so far. All right. Okay, so back to where I was. Okay, now your spectrum of solutions is a really sexy word for a one-page document that shares what you do. Okay, what does that look like? So let's just say you are a, let's say you're a branding consultant, okay? So as a branding consultant, what are you going to do? You're going to have branding consultations. You're going to talk about colors. You're going to talk about pictures. You know, so you want to take whatever it is that you have, whatever is your business, and you want to really just write a list of the problems that you solve. For me, for instance, my spectrum of solutions would contain things such as helping you clear the clutter, implement systems in your business, get organized in your business, establish you know, multiple systems in your life and business to help you run smoother. So, you know, you think about how you service your customer and all the things that you do. You could be a social media consultant. You might have things such as establish a Facebook marketing plan, establish, you know, web design, you know. So and I hope you get the picture here. So it's just a list of things, of solutions that you provide to your ideal client. That's all the spectrum of solutions is. So preparing this document, though, is really key to you getting this right, because I'm going to tell you now that not a lot of people do it. People that I have talked to have never even heard of a spectrum of solutions. And so you are going to be a cut above the rest by having this little document. This is a valuable piece of paper, and I'll tell you why later. Okay. Now, networking opportunities. I know we live in an online world, okay? And online is great, but nothing beats face-to-face. Trust me when I tell you that not everybody in this world lives online. So you have to get out there and meet people. And even if you do have an online presence, people want to meet people. They want to make sure that you're a living, breathing organism and not just some mysterious face behind a website. So where do you find these networking opportunities? You can look on meetup.com. You can look just, you know, look up just Google networking groups in your area. You can look on LinkedIn. A lot of networking groups have groups on LinkedIn to where they communicate with each other about, you know, next events and whatnot. Also, Eventbrite is great too to find networking events and networking opportunities in your area. Really, wherever there is a group of people that have the potential to be, you know, whether they're an ambassador, a client, or whatever, those are networking opportunities. Okay, so you have to be diligent about starting to scope out where all the action is happening. Chambers of Commerce is another good place to look as well. Okay, so you've got your spectrum of solutions and you've got your networking opportunities. So let's look at the execution. Let's talk about how this whole thing works. Okay. So you go to a networking event and you connect with 2 or 3 people. Now, here's the thing about networking events. When you go to networking events, you know, you'll see one of 2 things. There is usually a table that's full of business cards, or there's somebody walking around just passing out business cards like candy, okay? You don't want to do that. You know, if you want to leave your business card on the table, and it really just, sometimes it just depends on the rules of the group, okay? They might have you leave a stack of cards on the table, which is, you know, if that's what they want, fine. But you want to just connect with 2 or 3 people, okay? And then that is just a, hey, how you doing? Just small talk, chit chat kind of thing, you know, of introductions, finding out who's in, you know, what business, whatever. And usually at networking events, depending on the type of event it is, you've got to introduce yourself anyway. You've got to stand up and say, hey, my name is Lysandra Everett, and I'm the owner of No Excuses Approach 2, acronym MEET, which we specialize in clearing clutter and implementing systems for home-based business owners and entrepreneurs. So you've got to have some little spiel already set up to introduce yourself. So, but you're going to connect with 2 or 3 people. And then from there, you'll schedule the one-on-one meetings. Yeah, I got to get out there and, again, meet some people face-to-face. Now, you're going to ask questions. You're going to get to know them as people, not as business owners. And then it's at this one-on-one meeting, that's where you share this spectrum of solutions. And I'm going to tell you how delicious this is going to be. So get ready for that. But, and it's at these one-to-one meetings that you figure out if that person really is a good fit for you. Because quite frankly, even if someone has a complementary business to yours, that doesn't mean that they're going to be a good fit for you. You might be someone that is, you know, very easygoing, and this other person is high strung, and it could be the other way around. So you really need to you know, to look at personalities and all of that, you know. So if you look at somebody and say, you know, wow, we could be really good friends, that person's a good fit. But if you're like, oh no, if you don't know, then the answer is no, because you don't want to refer business to people and you're not sure about them for yourself. So if you wouldn't do business with them, you don't want to refer other people to do business with them. All right, so follow up. Woo. Let me tell you about the follow-up. Okay, so you need to keep in regular contact, regular phone calls, and you want to keep notes on the call as to what happened. Okay, you want to, you know, just jot down some notes about what you talked about. Handwritten note cards, plain, non-logoed note cards. Every once in a while, it says, hey, you know, had a great time at our last meeting. You know, we need to get together, do it again soon, blah, blah, blah. You know, actual, not emails, an actual written, use your hand, ink to paper cards, okay? But you want to keep in regular contact. You know, this is how, you know, like a client management system, but you also need to keep a management system for your contacts, not necessarily just for your clients, but also with your business associates as well, okay? And it's in keeping with this regular contact that you build your relationships, okay? So now we talked about this one-on-one meeting. So this is what I want you to keep in mind. And this works whether you're talking to a client or whether you're talking to other business people. The one who talks the most dominates the conversation. The one who asks the most questions controls the conversation. You want to get good at asking questions. And it's at this one-to-one meeting that you share your spectrum of solutions when they ask about you. So let me tell you how this looks. Okay, so you and Jim get together for lunch, okay? And you're asking Jim all about Jim. Jim's telling you about his life, his family. He's telling you about his kids. He's telling you about, you know, all his struggles. And he says, well, you know, what about you? And you say, you know what, here's a spectrum of solutions. You can totally review this later. I want to learn more about you. And then you continue on with the conversation, asking Jim about him. Okay, so you get to ask Jim all this business, and he says, okay, well, what about you? You give him that little spectrum of solutions. You know, hey, you can review that later. I would love to learn more about this. You just said blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me more about that? Okay, so you're taking the focus completely off of you, and you're focused on Jim. Now, Jim is feeling excited and walking away going, heck yeah, man, I just told them all about me and my business and da 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 da. So this really works out for you because Jim wants to hang out with you now, because Jim's told you everything about his business. And trust and believe he's going to review this spectrum of solution sheet, because that's the only way he's going to find out what you do. You spent all of the time talking about Jim. Jim has dominated the conversation. You've asked him questions, he's answered them, and you found out everything you want to know. And let me tell you, not a lot of people do this. And when I tell you this works like a charm, holy smokes, it works like a charm. Because you give people the opportunity to really talk about themselves. You find out the kind of people that they really are. and you ask questions, people will definitely tell you. Okay, so it's the one-to-one meeting that really solidifies things, and you can decide, okay, you know what, Jim is you know, definitely not quite my cup of tea as far as building a strategic partnership with, you know. So you can definitely figure that out from the one-to-one meeting. Okay, so what are your next steps? Okay, this is what you need to do, all right, to implement this and get this rolling. One, you need to create your spectrum of solutions. You need to know exactly what it is that you offer, all right? And then you want to identify the needs of your ideal client, okay? Look at that model picture of your ideal client and figure out where they are in their lives, the type of services that they need. Okay, once you identify those needs, then you can say, okay, I need to find a good insurance person, I need to find a fashion person, I need to find whatever kind of person. Okay, you know what you're looking for. So when you go to networking events, you can be intentional about who you are connecting with. So you're not wasting your time when you're going to all of these networking events, wasting time, gas, money, all of that stuff. You know, when you go to these networking events, you are being intentional about what you're doing. And when you are intentional about what you're doing, you definitely get there. Okay, so those are your next steps. Those are the things that you can do to start to implement what you just learned. And also, the great thing about this spectrum of solutions, it helps you get really clear. Okay, so even if you are just getting started in business, you have a business idea, when you create the spectrum of solutions, you get really clear on what it is that you want to offer. And it might change from time to time. That's okay. But this thing, you know, it definitely helps you focus your business. And when people are referring business to you, they are crystal clear with what you are offering them. So if you can just imagine you're sitting somewhere getting your vacay on, okay? And back home, your strategic partner, Sue, meets somebody and they're not a good fit for Sue. However, they're a great fit for you. And Sue says, you know what? Lysandra would be great for you to connect with because she does blah, 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 blah. And because you've given Sue your spectrum of solutions, she knows exactly what it is that you do. So then she fires you off a message. Hey, while you're sunning yourself in Cancun, I met this great client for you that I'd like to introduce you to. How cool is that to have business come to you that way? That's where referrals come from. But you have to build those relationships first for people to know exactly to whom they are referring business, and you want to get to know people so you can refer people too. And this only boosts your value in your client's eyes. It's not that you have to be able to service every need of your client, but that you are connected to people that can service the needs of your client. So that's why this is so powerful and so important for us as business owners to know who we need to get connected with in order for our businesses to grow. Okay? So, all right. So here's how you connect with me. You find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. And I'm going to stop sharing now and come out so you can see me. Hey. Okay. So, so what I wanted to to get off of that and really just share with you that, you know, these strategic partnerships, you just don't hear people talking about them. But like I said, now that you know, you've seen some industries that that have strategic partnerships already in place, now do you see the power in it? Is, you know, that's the thing about it. You have to see the power in it. And what I want to do is go to the Facebook page. If you haven't gone to the Facebook page, please go to the Facebook page and ask some questions. You might be thinking, okay, yeah, I'm in business, but I have no idea who a potential strategic partner would be for me. So if you'd like some help figuring that out real quick, go to my Facebook page at Let's Get Neat and, you know, put where it says post questions here, just write a comment about the industry that you're in, and we can see if we can figure out who would be some potential strategic partners for you. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a hot 2 seconds to do that. And I'm gonna take a drink of water. And this recording will come out, by the way. Last week, after I did the webinar, I got sick for 4 days. So, yeah, so I've got 2 recordings to actually get out. But yeah, this one will be out sooner than the previous one. All right, let me go look, see here. All right. Okay, don't be shy, but because I'm giving you this opportunity, so don't come emailing me going, hey, I need some help. Okay. All right, so you know what? If you need me, shoot me a message. I'm happy to help you out. And yeah, that's it. So look out for the registration link for next week. I think next week, because Easter is coming up. And so I don't want to lie. Jason, thank you very much, dear. Okay, so here's the thing. Next week, we're going to talk about systems, implementing systems in your business, and understanding what kind of systems you need to have in place for your business to be rock solid. So I will see you all next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And like always, if you can't make it, make sure to register and get the recording. All right, so you guys rock. You're awesome. I will see you next time. Later. Bye.